Hi Josh, I've looked over your lesson plans and here's some feedback for you. So overall, I really like these. I think they're very well done, and I really like the heavy amount of scaffolding that you do, specifically in regards to some of the worksheets that you made so that the kids have like really solid examples to refer back to as they're writing. And I also really liked the pacing of this lesson plan. The fact that you spent a whole day on idea generation, um, and then a day on the creative freedom part, and then a day on structure. It's just so nicely paced. So I feel like for eighth graders, especially, that I think it's reasonable to expect them to keep up with this kind of a thing. And frankly, I'm really glad that you set a whole day in there for them to draft in class when you're right there with them. I think that especially in middle school, that stuff's important. It's hard. We talked about that in class to justify giving over a whole day to that, but I think you did a nice job of it. So let me show you some specific things that I like throughout your lesson plans so that you can continue to replicate those, okay? I think that you chose very good evidence outcomes to specifically meet each particular lesson plan. And so I like that. It shows me that you're able to work with these and understand these evidence outcomes at a nice high level. I also appreciate the fact that the fact that your essential questions your students will be able to and your students will understand all align very nicely. Having seen that the students will understand the difference between facts and opinion and then be able to define bias and recognize their own bias is very nicely done. So students see that they're to be thinking about and they're to be working with the same concepts. So that's very nicely done on that alignment there. Okay. Your prompt, nice, simple, straightforward, to the point. I like that. I think it's less intimidating for kids. All right. So starting, this lesson plan with jumping off from the text and moving into this fact versus opinion idea, I think is a really good job because you're asking them to write an opinion about the essay, but a well thought through opinion. And so I really liked the flow or the transition from reading the text into writing by starting them off with thinking about how they talk and why they talk and how they can support things that they say. I like that. That's very well done. This piece right here, when you have, to further scaffold this idea, that's beautiful because that's that piece we're talking about where you can reach inside of the students and find something that they all can definitely relate to, because adolescents all tell their parents stories from one point of view. It's a perfect place to show bias. And more than that, Josh, what it really demonstrates to me is that you're really thinking about your students as people and you're getting to know them and where they live and how they think and all those things. And I think that that's going to be a really big help to you as you move through the program into teaching. Okay, so I like the fact that you really have a nice balance between you asking questions and the students answering. So this is really, a 50-50 talk time that you're sharing with your students in there, and that's also good. It helps keep them engaged. Got a little bit of movement in the class, and that's nicely done. And I also like that you have them, I don't know if you mentioned it in here or in the next one, that they have a partner that they've been working with for the entire unit, and that's fantastic. So someone that they've been reading the book with, talking about the book to, and now they're going to be talking about their writing about the book to this person. And that creates something really powerful so that they've got a go-to person in that class. Okay. So looking at your second one, your creative freedom document. So again, I think that you've chosen the perfect evidence outcome, and it demonstrates to me that you're really beginning to understand and be able to make these evidence outcomes work for what your students need to do. Again, very nice alignment between your understand and will be able to sections. Okay. I love the fact that that all your kids are going to have free writing notebooks, and that you're really walking them through sometimes what they should be doing. You've got a T chart here, and you're creating a list of things that you love and a list of things that you don't, and then circle some of those and start at the top of the next page. That kind of direct instruction in regards to organizing some of their thoughts and organizing their journal entries will be very powerful to them. At the end of this kind of a unit, or maybe even, partway through your school year or something, it's really awesome opportunity to have them look back through their writing journals and say, what kinds of things have we been doing in here? How has that helped you out? Do you see any place where you can document a progression of your thoughts from one space to another space or something like that? And it really helps them to see their own growth in their own thinking and writing. And that's really powerful. As adults, we're always looking for that growth and we're so excited when we see it. But for kids, it can really just slide by them sometimes. And so concrete evidence to document that kind of growth in writing and thinking, I think is really powerful. So I like the fact that you're doing that. All right. So you continue to scaffold their writer's notebooks here. And then the way that you have them think about their topic in relationship to the giver by, where's that specific sentence? Yeah, here where you model for them. Yeah, right in here. For the hunger topic, I hate this. I hate this fact about my society right here. And then I'm going to think about that in the giver. That's really powerful. So you're specifically talking to them about how to bridge from their ideas in their own head to the ideas that came out of the text. And I like that kind of scaffolding. I think it's really important, especially for middle school kids. And again, hold on. I think, I'm thinking about the giving structure one. Let's look at that one, because I was going to say, again, your guided notes in there were just fantastic. So looking at structure, of course, claims and counterclaims, and getting on towards the Toolman stuff, the claim data warrant stuff, beautiful, perfect timing for this, okay? I love the fact that you're, willing to provide a complete set of guided notes for students who might need that for them. And, there's just some kids that need that. So I'm glad to see you're thinking about it. Okay, so you're helping them to parse out the difference between a topic and a theme. Nicely done, because it's a very common misconception with middle school students. And again, it shows me that you know your students, you know where they're coming from, you've identified some of their potential, pitfalls, and you're getting those addressed up front. I really like to see that in here. Okay. So, helping them understand claim data and warrant, that's just a toughie, and we'll address that further in argumentative writing. But I think you did a really nice job here, sharing the talk time with them, giving them specific definitions, and then asking them to talk back to you about those definitions, okay? Again, I love this kind of a flow, how you've got them writing on their own for 5 minutes, talking to a partner for 3 minutes, listen to me for 3 minutes, and that they've got, this kind of minutia and the chunking can make those classes just clip along so well, and just hardly even give the kids time to give you behavior problems, because 5 minutes here, 3 minutes there, 3 minutes you're up here, 5 minutes on your own, 3 minutes turn to a partner. They just clip along so well with you that they hardly even have a chance to figure out how to do something naughty and off task, Here, these were what I was thinking of. So well done. And I'm glad to see that you are willing to take the time and the effort to make some of these guided notes for your students. I think it's a big help when it comes to writing. Okay, so this is the day that you really have them drafting all day in class, and that is your specific objective, and it meets your evidence outcomes, so well aligned, nicely chosen lesson plan. And then in your revision one, this was interesting. This is the only one where my brain started kind of like popping a little bit. Like I wonder if that's enough for the kids. So, okay, well chosen, well aligned here. All right. Let me get into the nitty gritty of the lesson plan. So you definitely are doing the line by line with the rubric, right? You're telling them the difference between revising and editing. And then here are the 4 components that we're looking for, and then having them have a discussion. So, right. Why did you choose this? What are these going to look like? What do you think I want to hear? Sometimes for some students, they can do this, but mostly it's the students who feel like they were already good writers, because they can talk to you about writing, right? They can say, when you say things like, what would a four look like? Or what do you think I'm looking for? Students who are good writers already are going to say things to you like, oh, sentence structure and lots of detail and, connections with the readers, by starting with an anecdote, different little things like that. But students who don't feel like strong writers, A, aren't going to give you those answers. And then B, what I'm looking for in here is what are the students supposed to be doing? Are they supposed to be note taking on these, kind of writing up their own rubrics or what? So I'm not sure. It would really depend on the personality of your class. But in eighth grade, I'm betting a lot of them would still feel really hesitant to answer these questions. Come back to the large group. They're supposed to be listening to each other. They're supposed to be understanding, the good ideas that come out of writing by looking at a rubric. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. This is the one. I mean, I think lesson planning wise, Josh, you did great. I have no qualms with your lesson plan whatsoever. But I'd be interested to see. I'm not sure that this kind of a thing is going to be enough when it comes to revision as far as like you instructing them. And then I also wonder if it's too much to just go, hey, you've got 35 minutes of class, to do peer revision on all 4 sections. That's the kind of thing, like when you give them 30 minutes of time with one set of instructions, they're going to work for a few minutes, then they're going to be off task. They're going to work for a few minutes, then they're going to be off task. And what would be the value in kind of chunking that down and going, right now, like I just want you to hand this to someone else. I'm going to give you 5 minutes or whatever, and I just want you to read it. I don't want you to mark on it or nothing, just read it. Then let's come back and let's look at some good introduction ideas and the difference between the rubric. Now I'm going to give you 5 minutes to just read and think about the introduction on your peer, on your peer's paper, and then come back to me and let's talk about organization. That kind of back and forth might help with management and might help to keep them a little bit more focused. But lesson planning wise, I think you did a great job on this, Josh. Keep it up. Thanks for your hard work.